What's going on, guys? Taimanin Amazing here, back with another video. And in today's video, guys, I wanted to do kind of like a beginner's guide over supporters in Action Taimanin, because I know, like, you know, a lot of new players like came during the anniversary and they might not know like what they're doing on Action Taimanin with in regards to their supporters. So supporters are like your main way of giving your character extra passives and can actually boost a lot of your gameplay, especially when using characters in Action Taimanin. So what I want to talk about in this video is kind of go over like a few builds and kind of explain how they work and why they work, and kind of go over also some free-to-play options that you guys can use if you're wondering what are some pretty good free-to-play builds for your characters. So let's hop into my Kurenai here, as she'll be my like demonstration character here when we'll be going over like builds. So let's say we start with the Kurenai supporter, right? The Kurenai supporter is a red supporter, a suppressed supporter, right? So if we want to be using this supporter, we would want to make sure we check Kurenai's skills here to see what we're kind of building for, and we want to make sure that we are going for a build that, you know, kind of incentivizes us to use more red supporters. So this one right here, Gale Slash, is actually going to say that if we do a set 3 bonus, we're going to be getting charged particles by 2%, we're going to restore HP by 3% of the damage dealt, and we're going to increase critical rate by 50%. So that's a lot of they're incentivizing us really to use a lot of red supporters. So if I go to Kurenai here and we go to the supporters list and we start doing like a free-to-play build, let's say. So this is not the free-to-play piece, but let's say you did pull this Kurenai supporter and you want to actually build a red build for Kurenai, a fairly free-to-play one, right? So what you would do, if you have the SR supporter Homura, you would actually equip her, because Homura is going to be one of the best supporters in the game, increasing all your damage dealt to all enemies by 30%, and then increasing your damage taken by 10%. But your damage taken part, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to be dishing out enough damage to where you don't really have to worry about your own tankiness, right? And you're also going to be healing because of the Gale Slash bonus that we discussed earlier. So, you know, that's going to be a really good option right there. And then we're going to add another SR supporter here. We're going to add Renka right here. So she's going to be increasing the critical rate of melee attacks by 14%, which is actually going to increase the amount of damage that Kurenai is going to do overall. So this is a semi free-to-play build right here, right? If you're building your setup here. Kurenai is obviously not a free-to-play supporter, but if we were to swap her out as well, we would go for maybe... We could go for maybe like, let's see here. What's a good red free-to-play S supporter, right? That's something we gotta determine here. It doesn't really matter, really, right? Like, it's kind of dependent on what you have. Like, during the Ingrid event, Ingrid was free-to-play, so you could maybe run her. You could run, like, you know, what's another good supporter here that we could run for red? We could run maybe Yukikaze. Is it? No, because it's range attacks. Spica. Like, if you pull like a Spica, then, you know, you could use that too. Generally, like with free-to-play builds, it's all based around like what you have, you know. It's not really just like, you know, only using free-to-play stuff, but whatever you have that's available is going to be a really nice bonus as well. And let's say you have like Lydia Baretta here, and you could just slap Lydia Baretta on. You could do this, and then you could do these two free-to-play supporters as well. So that's kind of how you go about building builds and why you want to be doing them in this fashion. Obviously, your builds can change depending on the setup. Like if you're running like, let's say it's a bonus that only requires a 2-set. Like if I was running God's Eye here, I would only need 2-set red to actually get the speed bonus from God's Eye. So I wouldn't need to run full red if I didn't want to run Gale Slash. Like let's say I did not want to run Gale Slash, but I wanted to run another ability. I could switch Gale Slash for maybe like Stormfang, let's say, and then I could run 2-set, you know, I could run 2-set red, and then I could also run Deflecting Wind and set, you know, like maybe blue or green as my main. You know, which can kind of, you know, make it so my build is a little more versatile. So there's a lot of things you can go about doing with your supporter builds, and it really does revolve around the Taimanin themselves, and what they work well with. So obviously, you know, it depends on the type of character. But if you guys need like a general gist of every character, go watch my tier list that I made on every Taimanin character, and where I rank them on how I feel, like on how good I feel each of them are. But yeah, like generally when you're building supporter builds, you want to make sure that it synergizes well for the main character and how they work. So Kornai is a melee character, right? And she's based on doing really fast hits and melee damage. So she's gonna be, you know, she's also gonna be critting a lot. She's gonna be dishing out a ton of damage. So you don't really want to be sitting there and, you know, tanking or anything like that. So Homura, as I said, is a really good option. And then also having Rinka here is gonna increase your critical rate of melee attacks, which is gonna make it so that every hit you do is going to actually, you know, be increased on the critical rate, doing more damage on the enemies, man. And then, like, you know, let's say we had Lydia Baretta here, we're going to be getting damage dealt to all enemies increased, and then also increasing the critical damage to all enemies as well. So it's kind of just depending on the character, right? It obviously depends, but you would do different builds. Like, I'll do another example here. Like, let's say we go to Sakura here. So if we wanted to build like a free-to-play build for Sakura here, we can kind of go about that in a pretty nice fashion here. So Amane is not a free-to-play supporter per se, but she's definitely an accessible one. So this Fuuma Amane. So the reason you like to run Fuuma Amane is because of how good her passive is, where she gets, like, you know, AoE damage. So let's say we wanted to run her as our main UR supporter, and we wanted to run 2 SR supporters to kind of support that supporter. We would run Mai right here because Mai's going to reduce damage taken from all enemies. Just straight up damage reduction is going to be a really good pickup right there. And then if you guys haven't actually gotten the Sakura supporter, because she's actually free to play as well, she's gonna act just like Mai and give you damage reduction as well. So when you run this build right here, is gonna make it so when you get hit, you're gonna be applying the AoE damage, but you're also gonna be taking what is almost like 44% damage dealt, or 42%. Yeah, because I have 22.5 here, and we got 20% here. That's going to be about 40% damage reduction while you're dishing out a good amount of damage with a full blue build on Sakura here, right? That's kind of how you want to go about building builds, and it all depends on your supporter lineup and how the character synergizes with those supporters. So that's basically a gist of supporters and how they work in Action Taimanin. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, man. Do you guys like doing, or do you guys have an issue building builds for your characters, or if you need help with that, definitely let me know in the comment section below, because I can kind of help you guys out depending on your situation. But generally, just go to your supporter list and see which ones you have that, like, you feel might be beneficial. Like, if I, like, one last example, like, if I had like a ranged character per se, and I had like Asuka, and Asuka is a ranged character if you actually apply her ranged ability, right? So if you want to make use of Asuka here, you can actually use ranged red supporters instead, and a lot of them are free to play as well. So like a good example would be Granny Providence, which came out like a few months ago, and she's actually going to increase damage dealt with ranged attacks by 30% on a red build. So we would slap that on. We would slap the other free to play supporter on, what's her name? We would slap on Nino Weaver, which is also another 30% damage dealt ranged supporter. And then we could just slap Homer on as well, just for the damage dealt 30%. And that's going to be 90% damage dealt across the board, which is a really, really good bonus, right? So that's kind of how I go about building builds. And yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below. And I'm going to see you guys in the next Action Taimanin video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.